Welcome to the Purple Positivity Podcast for June the 20th, 2018. I am your host, the amazingly adorable Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my new used desk in my apartment, which I call Jeffrey Thistlework. Yes! It's really funny. For a whole hot second there, I seriously thought it was 2013. I was about to say it's 2013. No, it's fucking 2018. Good lord. Where is my brain these days? Anyway, so laughter, there's that saying about how laughter is really the best medicine, and it is. I mean, there's scientific evidence to support that idea that laughter is actually really good for you. I try and start my day every single day by laughing. So, I usually watch my late night shows first thing in the morning because I want to laugh before I start my day. Sometimes that's not enough because, this crazy world we live in isn't always necessarily that funny. So even then, I'll go on Netflix, I'll go, okay, rerun of that 70s show or Friends or, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, something that'll make me laugh, because I think that's the best way to start your day. But I think more importantly, laughter is honestly the best coping mechanism. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, and I'll get into that in a minute, but one of the greatest lessons that my mom ever taught me, and I really hope that I pass this down to my son and any kids that may subsequently arise in the future, is that if you can laugh at something, you can overcome it. So, prime example of this is when I was 17 and I lost my vision. My mom would make these jokes, and I mean, I was 17 years old and I was depressed and I didn't appreciate it at the time, but here I am, almost 15 years beyond that situation, and I go, well done, Mom, well done. Because she would call me halfway Helen Keller, because I was half blind and half deaf and half blonde, so therefore dumb. Half blind, half deaf, half dumb. She'd make these little snarky remarks, and I think half of it was just her way of coping, by laughing at what was going on with me. It made it easier for her to cope with, oh my gosh, my child is going through this horrific tragedy in her life. And I mean, I was only 17 years old. That's terrifying for a 17-year-old to go through. And I think my mom not only knew that I was terrified, but she's my mom, and she's terrified. This is not supposed to happen. This is not how life is supposed to go. This is not what you necessarily sign up for, You don't expect this to happen. And so I don't know, I've never really asked her about it, although apparently she listens to this show, so I'm sure she'll have something to say about it next time I see her. But I think in part she was trying to conquer that situation herself, what she could do in that situation. But on top of doing that, she taught me that if I can laugh at my problems, if I can laugh at the things that frustrate the ever-loving fuck out of me, then they can't control me or define me. I have, like I said, conquered them. I've conquered that situation. I am better than that. And I mean, so I make a lot of little snarky remarks about being blind or blind-ish, as I like to say. I make a lot of snarky little jokes about my vision all the time. And it's just my regular way of reminding myself that I'm not my disability's bitch. My disability is my bitch. I don't know if that makes any fucking sense whatsoever to anyone but me. But I mean, and when I say I make little snarky remarks, it's, you know, I'll say something like, in the course of the conversation, I'll say, "Oh, I see," says the blind girl. Or somebody will say, I see how that would work. And I say, well, good, that makes one of us, you know. On Facebook, you know, you have these, like, answer a question things. And inevitably, I always come across one about, you know, my favorite car is, or when I drive, I blah, 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 you know. And you're supposed to fill in the blank after that, right? And I always answer with something that makes it clear that I cannot drive. But more importantly, it's a good thing that I can't drive. Like, I'm regularly telling people, I think the world is grateful that I can't drive, you know, and truthfully, I think that's more than just about my vision, but you know, that's just speculation on my part. But I mean, this is true not just of my disability, you know, not just of my vision impairment. This is true of my anxiety. I like to laugh at myself for being afraid of everything in the world. I know I don't come off as being a very fearful person, but I am. I'm terrified all the time. This is true of my dealing with depression. Like, I will laugh at myself for struggling with depression. I know that sounds like so paradoxical, right? But, you know, if you can laugh at it, you can overcome it. When I was in high school, I was really klutzy, and I mean, in hindsight, there was a reason for that, and a damn serious one. But I'd laugh all the time about falling off of sidewalks. Like, how do you fall off of a fucking sidewalk? Like, you know, I was always falling down, and I was always tripping over things, and I still do, really. But I always laugh at myself for it. I laughed at myself for when I lose things. Oh my gosh, like, I cannot tell you how many times I have just, like, torn my apartment apart trying to find my phone, only to realize 10 minutes into the search that I'm holding my phone in my hand. How insane is that? But, like, you know, if you can laugh, you can overcome. I met all caps someone on this dating app called Meet Mindful, and when I was setting up that profile, there's a section, you know, inevitably, as there are on About Me, or dating sites, there's always that About Me section, right? And I was filling that out, and I sat there thinking, okay, how can I sum myself up? And I think what I actually put in that section was, you want to know what kind of person I am? I'm the kind of person that gets hit by a truck, gets back up, and starts laughing. And that is a true story. Like, I've mentioned this on the show in the past. I got hit by a truck. I say I got hit. I really got nudged. It just sort of nudged me enough that it knocked me over. But I got hit by a truck. Sounds so much better, right? Sounds so much more dramatic. But I got hit by a truck. And like I said, I'm fine. I just fell down. But once I got up, I just started laughing. And this guy got out of the car to help me up and to make sure I was okay. And I looked at him, and then I went, oh, wow. And then I ran away because I was not entirely ready to admit that I was ready to feel those kinds of feelings again. But I even laughed at myself for that. That's a stupid thing to get upset about. But I'm sitting there laughing. And even back in 2012, I got hit by an SUV. A little harder at that time, but I got hit by an SUV back in 2012 in October, I think, October or November of 2012. And again, mostly just knocked me over. I got a big old nasty bruise on my leg. But I got back up and I started laughing. I was just sitting there laughing my ass off. These poor girls in this SUV must have been so confused because I just sat there laughing because all I could think was, shit, I've been visually impaired for 9 years and I only just now got hit by a vehicle. And then another part of my brain was going, and it wasn't even a hybrid. Ha! Take that, National Federation of the Blind. Because I don't know if you know this, but back in, I guess it's 2007 or so, the National Federation for the Blind, or of the Blind, excuse me, actually sued Toyota and I think a couple of other car companies over their hybrid cars, insisting that they equip them with some kind of beeping mechanism so that blind and visually impaired people would hear them. And because blind and visually impaired people were getting hit by hybrid cars and supposedly. And I always thought that was ridiculous. I still think that's ridiculous looking back at it. But that was another reason I started laughing. But because I could laugh at being hit by a motorized vehicle, it didn't hurt. Now, here's where the sort of double-edged sword comes in, is because when shit gets serious, I tend to start like laughing and making snarky, sarcastic remarks, which means that even when levity is inappropriate, I still do it. Like, I'll catch someone, I guess this is about a month or so ago, we were talking on the phone on my lunch break, and he was telling me about how he was cutting a lot of toxic people out of his life, and he went on to say that the people he keeps in his life, he genuinely cares about, and he cares about them a lot. And he was saying it in such a way that I knew he wasn't necessarily making a general statement. He was trying to tell me, like, look, I really do care about you. And I knew that. And I knew he was being serious, but I couldn't help myself. I said, oh yeah, sure, that's what you say. Being sarcastic and snarky because shit was getting serious. And my brain went, oh no, we can't handle this. We can't handle this vulnerability of like, oh, okay, you say this now, but then what happens down the line and when you're not in my life anymore? And that vulnerability is very terrifying. And almost as soon as I said that remark, I went, oh shit, I didn't mean to say it. And I really quickly said, no, I know you're being serious. I'm sorry, that is my knee-jerk reaction. That's nothing to do with you. I know, and I appreciate it. And I really tried to backpedal on that one, like, big time, because I knew I'd slipped up. But laughter is a wonderful coping